Okay, we have arrived in the upper city, and Kain has gone through, changed his clothes, met the Cabal, and is moving on with his mission.
My sister's husband saw a man drained white he was just last week. And if the vampires don't get you, the Sarafan guards will have some questions for a stranger in this part of the city. And their questions aren't too healthy. Now go along with you, quick!
Yeah, thanks for the advice, lady. Now, when we got to the Cabal's hideout, we discovered a rather interesting little detail involving them. The leader that we had heard so much or so little or whatever about was actually Vordor, the vampire that we had encountered. What is happening here? The vampire that we had encountered back in Blood Omen and had a quick conversation with in Soul Reaver 2. Now, Vordor, as far as the storyline, the backstory of the game, is a very important character. Although his importance in Soul Reaver wasn't very pronounced, he's still a very important character as far as the history of the storyline goes. Vordor was one of the oldest vampires in the world. In fact, so old that his appearance doesn't really resemble humans too much. Has 3 fingers, has a distorted face. Fucking Sarafan. And it's, and he went and, storyline-wise, he was the one that, back during the first Sarafan's War, led by Malik and the Circle, the Pillar Guardians, he was the vampire that, after Janos Uldren had been killed, decided to take revenge on the Circle by breaking into the Sarafan stronghold and slaughtering all of the Pillar Guardians, or at least the 6 of them that he encountered when he broke into the room. Raziel, going back in time, had killed the other Sarafan lieutenants, such as his former self and Terrell and the other groups. After that, Vordor had a rather significant change in heart regarding dealing with the affairs of humanity, and that was one of, non-interference. Humans go do what the humans go and do, and vampires go do what the vampires are going to do. And he felt that the reason that dealing with humans by going and slaughtering them wasn't the best way to deal with that. In fact, he wanted nothing to do with humanity after that point, and just became this sort of hedonistic bastard who senselessly slaughtered every person that he felt like, but didn't make any big enough waves to attract a whole lot of attention. Now, when Kain had encountered him in Blood Omen, he referred to him... hold on.
So, the rumors speak true.
Marcus, my old friend.
A poor choice of words, Kain. We were not friends.
Will you sour this reunion with old grudges? Granted, we parted on poor terms.
You tried to murder me?
I seem to have failed.
You feared my growing powers. You knew they would one day surpass yours. Is that why you begged me to fight at your side when you waged war upon Nosgoth?
Begged? I never begged.
In your arrogance, you presumed me dead. But I was stronger than you knew. I crawled from my haven and fled into hiding.
That's the Marcus I remember.
When the Sarafan proved victorious, I knew that my destiny lay with the Sarafan Lord. I offered myself to the winning side.
I always knew you for a sneaking, cowardly opportunist. How unfortunate that my poor aim caused you so much suffering. This time, you will die completely, I promise you.
No, Kain. Once more you underestimate me. The dark gifts manifest differently in each of us. Over the years during your absence, my powers have increased enormously. I now have the power to charm all living things, to subjugate their minds and make them do my bidding. You will kneel to me, Kain, and the Sarafan Lord will be pleased with my new slave. Now, obey me. What? Impossible.
What manner of creatures have you been practicing on? Dull mortal fools, with their minds full of commerce and dung? My mind is far too strong for your powers.
No matter. My mental powers still allowed me to read your thoughts. You seek the Bishop of Meridian, do you not? He has some information that you require.
A clever trick.
I will ensure that you never get that information. You may find the good Bishop, Kain, but when you do, he will be dead.
Not if I reach him first.
Ah, trouble. Okay, he's charmed these guys and we gotta kill him. Now, back to what I was saying. Vorador had decided long ago that it wasn't worth it for vampires to go and interfere in the affairs of humans, and cautioned Kain against doing that. Despite that warning, he still helped Kain defeat Malik, who had become a sort of wraith warrior infused in his own armor, which Kain had a hard time fighting. But that advice was basically just lost on Kain, and Kain was manipulated by Mobius to travel back in time. And well, I had a little bit of backstory I'm going to go into again. If you had watched my or played the first Blood Omen game, you would already know this stuff. But there was a king called the Nemesis who was rampaging through Nosgoth with an army, basically like just slaughtering everyone in his way. So brutal was his war against everybody, against Nosgoth, that even Kain was disgusted about everything he'd seen. So when Kain was transported back in time after losing a battle against the Nemesis, he saw an opportunity to kill the Nemesis while he was a young man, 50 years in the past. And that ended up not working out too well for him, because what had happened was he had actually killed the Nemesis prior to the point in which he had turned evil. And in his youth, he was known as William the Just, a rather beloved king by everybody who knew him. That was an unfortunate thing for Kain, because the death of William the Just had a certain effect on the people of Nosgoth, which is what Mobius had planned the entire time. And that was to incite a sort of holy war against the vampires in Nosgoth. And that, well, the Sarafan Order wasn't resurrected, which had been killed when Vorador killed the Circle and Raziel had killed the Sarafan lieutenants. But a bunch of vampires modeling themselves after the Sarafan Order, led by Mobius, went and started a second purging war against the vampires, in which case Kain put a stop to it by killing Mobius. But in the process, all the vampires in the world, with the exception of Kain, had been killed, including Vorador. In fact, Kain watched Vorador be decapitated by a guillotine right in front of him, which left Kain the only vampire in the world, last of his kind. But as I was discussing in the early episodes of this series, something is very different about this history as opposed to what we had known previously about the Legacy of Kain world. Kain was the last vampire, and he lacked the power. In fact, it was referenced in conversation in the last episode that Kain lacked the power to create vampires, and it's a power he would not gain for another few hundred years when he raised Raziel and the Sarafan lieutenants. Power that he would not gain for quite some time. So where did all the other vampires come from if they were all deceased? And the answer is they came from Vorador. Now, something happened in the end of Soul Reaver 2, which, with all the time traveling, meant that Raziel and Kain had gone back to pre-Blood Omen era, long-ass time ago.
Right there in the Red Raven. That's right, but I could tell he didn't belong there. Nice hands he had, and that look in his eye like he reads too much.
Oh, a swell, was he?
That's right, and he tells me he'll give me a tenner if I follow his wife of an evening and kill the man she meets. And guess who it was?
Who?
A priest at the cathedral. She was going there every night to pray for her son who's run off somewhere.
Wow. What did you do?
What do you think? What I've been paid to do. I'm not one to spit at a tenner.
Is it time yet?
No. Wait till that light up there goes out. The gentry never think. They invite you to their house, and what? Do they think you just go away after that?
And there's lots of silver, you say? And the woman has jewels?
Hidden in the same place. Can you believe it?
Well, we'll just have to teach them a lesson about that.
They should thank us for it.
Oh, damn.
Someone ought to teach you a lesson.
Now, whatever we all know what Kain did. Kain prevented, at least for a time, Raziel's soul from being absorbed into the Soul Reaver, into the Reaver. And that, whatever effect that had on history, it changed it so that Vorador somehow wasn't killed. And it was Vorador who raised the army. Now, something I don't really care about in this game... Ah, damn it.
You there! You are to conduct me to the Bishop's Manor on the instant.
We were told to be on the lookout for a vampire.
Not me, you fool. You know me. Kain. Kain is the one you seek.
Well, he's not gonna stop and tell us his name.
You're to kill him on sight.
Those are our orders.
The characterization of Vorador in Blood Omen and, to a lesser extent, in Soul Reaver 2 was that of this sort of hedonistic lunatic who cares absolutely nothing for the rest of the world, just secludes himself off on his own and does whatever the hell he feels like.
Kain, it is Vorador. You must reach the Bishop's Manor at the other end of the city. Only he can give you passage into the Seraphin Keep. The curfew has set in, so be careful on the streets. The guards are looking for anyone suspicious and will attack you on sight.
So hedonistic and someone obsessed with his former victories and accomplishments, but so reclusive and all at the same time was Vorador that Kain was rather disgusted by him. Didn't like the fact that Vorador was once this powerful, incredible warrior, but had turned into nothing more than this old dumbass that who just sort of takes himself out of the rest of the world and obsessing over his old stories of grandeur, that Kain hated him. Although I guess he respected his power because he requested it in order to defeat Malik. But he didn't like Vorador much, and I get the feeling that Vorador didn't care much for Kain either. But wasn't about ready to sort of just write Kain off. In fact, was willing to help Kain. Level up. But the way Vorador is portrayed in this game is very different. As not as a not as a hedonistic crazy man who doesn't care about anyone other than himself, but as the father of all the vampires that are left in the world, with the exception of Kain, obviously, and someone who is, is a caring individual, sort of like a fatherly figure to the other vampires. Kain says we need to get Uma back because she has information we need. Vorador says, well, we need to save her life. That's what Vorador is really thinking about, and it's definitely not something that the Vorador we all know would have said. Kain makes some reference that his personality has changed, and that is definitely true. Although exactly what it was that changed his personality, we can only really speculate about. But I assume what changed his personality was more to do with his position among the vampires that survived. More as he's not just a vampire that existed in the world. He's actually the one who created all the vampires, so he sort of was like all the vampires' father. And watching them all die during this war has a rather significant effect on him. Now, back during the Seraphan's purging of the vampires back hundreds of years ago, did have an effect on Vorador, which, when Janos Aldrin was killed, he went and snuck into the Seraphan stronghold and killed all the Circle members that he could find out of revenge. So he obviously cared enough back then, so it's not a completely alien concept that he's going to be someone who's going to fight for his people. But it was more of I have a feeling that it was a little bit of a different situation. Idiot. Where are you going? Get back here. What's happening here? How you like that? So, Vorador feels like he has more of a vested interest in his people now.
I'm gonna cut you to pieces.
These enemies are a little bit weak for this point in the game. I'd expect to be fighting something a little bit stronger. I don't know what that is, but they're dead and their head's in the wall. Sweet! Why do they have this in their house? Oh, look at that. Now, this Marcus individual is another story. And he must have been a vampire that was created by Vorador, but one that decided, for whatever reason, that he didn't want to join Kain's army and fight against the newly risen Seraphan order. What? I dodged that shit. As a result, Kain decided he was going to try and kill him. Obviously, he failed, and Marcus continued to survive, obviously holding a grudge. And after Kain was defeated at that battle in the opening cinematic, he joined the Seraphan. But this rivalry he has with Kain is definitely a personal issue, unlike, well, I would guess Faustus was one of Kain's lieutenants, so he... that must have been a personal thing, too. But if Marcus gets to that priest before we do, obviously we're going to have some trouble. If he kills him, we can't get the information we need. to find Uma. Because Uma, we need information to go find the person with information. Nice. Forget information war here. Kain has the ability to disguise himself as a human. Back in in Blood Omen, he gained the ability to disguise himself as a human. Now, up in that game, up until that point, whenever you encountered a human, I mean, they wouldn't always be openly hostile to him. Like, the average person would not immediately try to kill Kain. What? But he would, but they wouldn't talk to him or anything like that, and any guard you encountered would immediately try to kill Kain. That's because people know a vampire when they see them. Kain has the ability to disguise himself, a power he gained in Blood Omen, and apparently a power that he retains up until this point, to disguise himself as a human. Now, the Sarafan are going to notice him, and they're going to try to attack him, but the average person that you see walking around is not immediately going to know that Kain is a vampire. Dumbass, you should have just offered yourself up for execution. That's probably why that's one of the reasons why they brought Kain out of his sleep and trying to recruit him into their cause, because he has the ability to disguise himself, and that is a very useful thing. Friggin' switch puzzles. Shit. Dumbass doesn't even notice I'm here. Cut right through his armor. It's nuts. Checkpoint. Ah, one of these guys. There's a shield. That one didn't stand much of a chance. When you get close to these walls, you see how over-compressed the textures were. It would be cool if, I mean, this game was re-released on Steam, and there must have been some sort of an update or two to not only add Steam integration, but to make it a little more reliable on modern systems. It would have been nice if they had just, like, gone back to the original files and sort of updated the textures, loaded uncompressed textures into the game, so everything looked a little bit sharper. Because I'm looking at these walls and I'm seeing like a classic example of an over-compressed image. Too many of the colors smudged together, and I find it difficult to believe that the original textures had that rather distinctive look. Ah, okay, I gotta jump. No, I don't have to jump. What am I doing? Do I have to do what I'm doing? Yes, I do. He's standing in water and not getting hurt. That's weird. Oversight, I bet. Okay, fella. No hard feelings. But you have to die. Ah, geez, the geometry on that statue is terrible. There we go. Who's that supposed to be a statue of, anyway? Why even bother having a puzzle like this? Probably to prevent me from going back to where I came from. Come here and die. Chumps. Okay, I'm coming up on the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to be bringing this episode to a close pretty soon. I don't want to do this. Oh, yeah, I do. It's a bit of an odd series. Difficult for me to determine when I should be ending episodes, when it's a good idea to end an episode, and all that kind of stuff. So I apologize if it's been a little chaotic. I guess it wouldn't hurt to make an episode every once in a while a little too long. Damn, I'm gonna have to kill this guy. These glowing armor Seraphan are a pain in the ass. Later on in the game, we get even more powerful Seraphan that are much bigger and stronger. I mean, bigger, literally bigger, they're gigantic. What in the hell just happened? Oh, alright. Would you look at that? Box puzzle. So many box puzzles. The way that he holds on to these things is so weird. Sort of, what do you call it? Friggin' just puts his hand on it, and it friggin' sort of rolls along with him. Did I do that right? What am I doing wrong here? Oh, don't tell me I've just sort of forgotten what I need to do here. Oh well, the puzzles in this game aren't too difficult. It shouldn't be hard to figure it out. Though I would have figured that this box I would have had to just... Oh, maybe I'm supposed to just get up there. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Filling this thing with water was pointless then. Grab the stupid box. What's happening here? Can't grab the box. Okay. I just had to hit the switch back here, which didn't make any damn sense to me, but whatever.
Kain, the Bishop's Manor is near. However, the Seraphan patrols have locked down all the streets. You may be able to trick them into opening the gates. Find the clock tower and ring its bell. The workers will think it time for their shift to change and will open the gates.
Okay, workers are stupid. Got it. Maybe I can get him from behind. Apparently I can. Even in this fog, I would not have been able to sneak up on him because they're the glowing knights, so they don't can't sneak up on them with fog. Let's go ring that bell. Freaking dude dressed well. That's what you get. These people did not see anything happening.
I told my lady the girls wouldn't clean his lordship's room with that light burning in there. They were that frightened of him.
The lights stay on of their own accord?
He calls it glyph energy. He's lit the whole upstairs with it now. It's a wonderful light, so gentle and bright. I like it myself, but the girl's near left in a body.
I've seen glyph lights, but not in a gentleman's house.
But he won them over in a minute, the day he got the glyph energy to heat his bath water for him. That's right, we carry the cans up cold now, and he's got the water hot in a twinkling. The girls are all right with it now. I told my lady the girls wouldn't clean his lordship's room with that light burning in there. They were that frightened of him.
The lights stay on of their own accord?
He calls it glyph energy.
They're just going to repeat what they already said. I guess it's sort of like back when electrical power first started being introduced into houses, people were frightened of it. So I guess these people are freaking out about the idea of glyph energy being used to light somebody's house. A lot of little references they seem to be putting here and there in this game. Where's that clock tower? It's over here. I guess I'm not getting through that way. Let's go ring a bell here and there. This must be it. You ready? Did that do it? Oh, we have a box puzzle. Oh, shit. What do we got to do with this? Can't do anything with it. I moved it a little bit. Was that enough? What's happening when I hit this switch? Oh, okay. I gotta do this. Okay, I already did what I needed to do with the box. Just move it enough so that thing falls further. Then hit the thing. Shift change. And the doors are open. So now we can go murder some people. Because you know I love a good murdering.
Almost didn't make any time.
Where did you come from? You weren't here before. Got him like a shish kebab. Suck the blood right out of his abdomen. You people need more blood in you. Ah. this isn't a box puzzle. Maybe not. Perhaps I should have been on that lift. Don't be under it. That seems dangerous. Safety first. How you doing, guy? Dumbass. Damn it. It's a geometry error. No, that's part of his armor. Never mind.